When Ellie Baxter repeatedly called her parents on Easter Sunday 2023 and they did not pick up the phone, she grew worried. Her mother, Carol Baxter, suffered from a serious autoimmune disease, so Ellie was constantly worried about her welfare. When Easter Sunday came and still Ellie got no response, she decided to pay her parents a visit at West Mersey, England. When she reached their home, she realized something was wrong, as the blinds were down and the lights were on inside, which was very unusual for the Baxter couple. She knocked on the front door but got no response. She reached the backside and saw a chilling scene through the windows. Her parents were sitting upright in their chairs. Their hands had turned blue and a liquid was coming out of Carol's mouth. They were both dead. In shock and panic, she immediately called the emergency line and then called over their close friend Luke Dewitt, who lived nearby with his mother. Luke immediately came over, tried to calm her down, and then tried to help the police get an idea of the situation at hand. He said he last saw them on Friday, April 7, but left them alone to give them privacy over the Easter weekend. There was no sign of any forced entry, violence, or any evidence of attempted suicide. It was clear at that point that the police would need to dig deeper to understand the mysterious death of Stephen and Carol Baxter. If you like art with a touch of mystery, you're in the right place. Welcome to Mrs. Arty. If you like our content, then command your puppet master to use his puppet to punch the like button and slowly push the subscribe button before the show begins. Along the ride, keep an eye on the painting, where we have hidden some clues. See if you can solve the mystery before we reveal the secret. Stephen and Carol Baxter created a small business empire called Cash Splash in the small town of West Mersey, England. Their company produced shower mats and made a decent fortune. They proudly owned a £1 million home in one of the best coastal towns in all of Britain. Around 2012, they met Luke Dewitt, a soft-spoken IT professional who helped them set up their business website. Since then, Luke had become their longtime friend. Luke lived with his mother nearby and would visit the Baxters often and hang out with them. The Baxters empathized with Luke and thought he was simply lonely and shy. He got even closer to the Baxters since he lost his father to cancer in 2021. However, even with the success of their business, all was not perfect in the Baxter household. Carol was diagnosed with a deadly condition called Hashimoto's disease, which significantly affected Carol's day-to-day life. This disease strips away the ability of the thyroid gland to produce hormones, thereby slowly deteriorating the quality of life. Symptoms include brittle nails, joint pain, heavy periods, fatigue, lethargy, and memory loss. Luke had helped Carol in every step of the way to deal with the disease, trying out new doctors and treatments. Through his contacts, he also suggested an apparently well-known endocrinologist named Andrea Bowden. Dr. Bowden was based in Florida and only accepted patients selectively. Bowden accepted Carol as a patient. Their communication was online, with Carol sending Dr. Bowden videos and emails explaining her ailments. The family friend Luke Dewitt helped them by making the health cocktails and making videos of Carol to send over to Dr. Bowden. Dr. Bowden in return would send her medical advice. Bowden's approach was somewhat holistic, recommending natural remedies like boiled lemon water and flaxseed kale smoothies. Bowden also introduced Carol to her other patients, who were also suffering from Hashimoto's disease. Of note were two patients named Cheryl and Linda, who formed a WhatsApp group with Carol to talk about their lives and treatment. When Carol's GP in England was informed of the treatment of Dr. Bowden, they found it incredulous and did not hold back their surprise in expressing that they have never heard of such approach to treat Hashimoto's disease. When Carol communicated it back to Cheryl and Linda, Linda was furious. "Do as Andrea says or you will have other problems," she said. They were insistent that Carol should stick to the rules and follow whatever Dr. Bowden says. Over time, Dr. Bowden started to have complete control over Carol's life, and Carol slowly drifted away from her GP. Carol even started sharing information about family and work with Dr. Bowden. Dr. Bowden advised Carol to minimize interactions with her family as she thought it would increase the stress levels. "It's very simple. You have to minimize the cortisol levels," she said. This small group of friends became so close that their influence even extended beyond the Baxter couple. Cheryl's sister Jenny was a theater producer who offered to assist the daughter Ellie Baxter in her ambition to become a singer. Ellie even recorded a song from her home to send over to Jenny for an audition. With time, however, Carol's condition deteriorated. In February 2022, Carol Baxter was admitted to the hospital with abdominal pain, and the doctors, to their horror, found a 17mm tack in her abdomen. In general, she was acting strange and disoriented, somewhat similar to the behavior of someone who just had a stroke. Upon hearing this, Dr. Bowden introduced Carol to another doctor, Dr. Alan Mandel. Dr. Mandel suggested a health drink that would cleanse Carol's liver. On April 5, just 4 days before the death of the couple, Dr. Bowden emailed Stephen Baxter expressing concern about the deteriorating condition of Carol and worried about the safety of Stephen himself, saying that patients like Carol can be unstable and even cause physical harm to people around her. Even with this in mind, at this point it was hard to explain how the couple were found dead in their chairs together on April 9. There were several theories of carbon monoxide poisoning or suicide, but none of them gained any significant traction. Carol had a pacemaker, through which the exact time of the death was narrowed down to sometime between 8 to 11 p.m. on April 8. When post-mortem report came in, it revealed a surprising twist. Carol and Stephen had been dead due to fentanyl overdose. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid up to 100 times more potent than morphine. When the police searched the Baxters' home, they found Carol's wicker box, which had 4 empty patches of fentanyl in them. These patches, designed to deliver fentanyl through the skin, were particularly notable because neither Carol nor Stephen and no familiar associate had a prescription for them. It seemed that they ingested the patches orally, which was a common misuse of the patches. The last individual to see the couple alive on Good Friday, April 7, was Luke Dewitt, as Luke himself admitted on April 9 when he came over to the Baxters. An hour before he left, however, £6,000 was transferred into the company account, apparently by Stephen Baxter. In their home, the police also found a 5-part will which named Luke as director and person of significant control of Carol Baxter's business. The will, however, was legally invalid as it did not have the signature of the Baxters. Upon searching Luke's bag, they found used and unused patches of fentanyl. Luke's father was prescribed this medicine by his doctor to ease the pain due to cancer. Luke claimed that he was about to return these drugs to the store. When the investigators searched Luke's phone, they found something even more disturbing. They found a still shot of the Baxters in his phone, slumped in their chairs in the same way as their daughter Ellie had found them. Apparently, Luke installed a tracking app which could be used to track pets called iHeartCam. The police concluded that Luke had watched the Baxters pass away from his home through his phone. Not only this, the police also concluded something even more chilling. Luke had created over 20 different personas, all to control and manipulate the Baxters. The main character he created was the Florida doctor, Dr. Andrea Bowden. The friends in the WhatsApp group, Linda and Cheryl, were also concocted by Luke. Luke did not stop with just the Baxter couple in this elaborate plan. He also conjured up the character Jenny. Upon the death of the Baxter couple, Luke even sent a text message to their daughter, Ellie, which said, "Oh no, my darling sweetheart, I am so sorry." He even created a fake voice of Jenny. This voice was recorded in the courtroom during the trial, which was one of the most incredulous part of the whole trial. The final character he conjured, Dr. Mandel, who suggested the liver detox concoction, was how police believed Luke convinced not only Carol but also Stephen to poison themselves. He probably first gave them a drug in these concoctions to make them drowsy and then slipped in the fentanyl in their tea. He then opened the iPad of Carol and transferred the £6,000 into the company account. Luke Dewitt was convicted of 2 counts of murder and was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 17 years. In this painting, a vast hand looms above, its fingers tangled in countless strings, each one tethered to the lives below. These marionettes, friends, doctors, trusted confidants, are the hollow masks of Luke Dewitt created to entrap Stephen and Carol Baxter. Every message, every piece of advice, every whisper of care was a tug on these strings, pulling the couple deeper into its design. Beneath them, almost blending into the checkered floor, crawls a dark scorpion, the poison hidden in plain sight. It is the fentanyl he fed them, the unseen sting that ended their lives while he watched from afar. The floral chairs stand like empty thrones, symbols of the lives and love that were stolen. This is not merely a painting of puppets, it is a portrait of manipulation, deceit, and the quiet, lethal venom of control. One hand, one mind, one man, and two lives, silently undone.